So yeah, look, tonight is a very special night for us guys. You know, I get to be on stage, I get to bring Tommy Tiernan on, who, for me, is the only person who's not a traveller who does a fucking brilliant traveller accent. So you get to see a tinker bring an actor onto the stage. I mean, come on,
I've always felt that it can be a struggle sometimes. If the show is too Irish, it can hold you back, but at the same time, I've said this loads of times, but if I'm going to see a Nigerian comedian or an Eskimo or Croatian or Argentinian comedian, part of the reason why I'm going is for the specific cultural references that they'll have about where they're from, you know. So if I was going to see a traveller comedian, what I'm fascinated to hear about is a traveller perspective on Ireland. If I'm going to see a comedian from Ballymun or from Valencia Island, that's what you're looking for, you know. But there are places where that can hold you back a little bit, you know. So it's but you don't want to become so generalised and universal that you don't actually sound like you're from anywhere. To allow yourself not to be totally pigeonholed by people who think they know what you're about before you've spoken. So, and I'm sure you have that kind of thing of not allowing one thing to define you, you know. Maybe not allowing anything to define you.
Most of my sets, up until recently, would be mainly talking to crowds, because that's how I know people. And a lot of my humour would come about from growing up in towns like Tuam.
Yeah.
And slagging people. Just slagging. If you're like you have three options in Tuam. You're either good at fighting, you're good at running, or you could take the piss out of somebody so they wouldn't even take the piss out of you again.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. I was really good at taking the piss out of people. I'm not built for running. No, I'm no shouting now, no hecking. Actually, I need to do the safety announcements. There's one traveller in the audience. I did a gig recently in Tala, complete working class. And I went up with the notion that I was going to do my 15 minutes of material. And I had it all set up. I was thinking, alright, I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to talk about that. The second I went up, I got heckled. And that first heckle was so good that I decided, this is what this crowd is up for. So I did a little bit back, a little bit of back and forth. And what I found was that the whole crowd started to heckle. But they were polite, because they were waiting for their turn to throw up something. And I delivered that back, and they loved it, and they've asked me to come back.
That's an amazing gift. Not every comic can do that, you know. And there are comics earning decent wages and have great careers who they're not, you know. Being able to take a heckle is about being open, you know. If your heart is open and then you hear the heckle, and when you properly hear the heckle, you can come up with something funny to say. If you're afraid of the heckle, then you can react like that.
You clench,
what comes out of your mouth is too constricted. So what you're talking about there, that's my favourite part of the gig. Well, there are. I would think that that's one of the highest forms of stand-up. I don't think it gets much. Genuinely, I don't think it gets much more in the moment and impressive than that.
That's the most enjoyable part, when your heart is pumping and the adrenaline is coursing through you, and you know all it takes is for one of them to come up with a better heckle than your comeback, and you're done. The rest, because it is like you just evaporate into nothing after.
But to be able to do that is a gift, you know, because a lot of comics would arrive and these are my jokes, this is the order I'm going to tell them in, almost oblivious to their circumstances. So for you to be able to entirely welcome the oddness of where you're performing and do a show specifically, not even tailored around, but kind of based on the people, that's phenomenal, right? That's incredible.
Well, thank you very much. I didn't want to say it. Any travellers in the audience, by the way? Yes. One fucking traveller in a town full of them. You know what's the buffers that paid fucking €30 tickets on there, wouldn't you? Empathy is a huge thing in comedy. That's understanding, and not just understanding through knowledge, but understanding through feeling.
That's great, but you also need mischief. and you also need, sometimes you're the audience's friend, and sometimes you're not, and it's a kind of, it's such a queer bar of soap you're trying to catch a hold. Do you know what I mean? It's an odd dynamic, but I think it's unpredictability.
We got, in my mind, the best Irish comedian to come to Tune and to tell a couple of jokes and to get the people behind it. Because I hope that this is going to cause like an avalanche of interest in the arts again, because Tune really needs it more than just comedy. The arts itself, it's dying a death, and the more rural parts of Ireland.
Yeah.
I think that needs to be rejuvenated a little bit.
One of the key things to that is a space. If you have a space in the town, be it a room above a pub or a room down a side street or an ex-cinema, if you have a space in the town where artistic imaginations are given the opportunity to develop, that's the key to it.
But I think we're ready to go.
Okay.
We have to get your makeup done, Tommy.
Yes,
but I have to say thank you again so much, and for taking time to have a chat with me.
It's my pleasure, fella. My pleasure.
Absolute inspiration to me, and
I'm dying to see you now. I'm excited.
No pressure. I mean, you will have to follow me, so I hope that's all right. But thanks a million.
My pleasure, fella. My pleasure. God bless.
Well, a big huge Tune welcome, guys, to Tommy Tiernan.
It's great to be here, Jim. I think it's brilliant. I think it's fucking mischievous, Irish, subversive, clever, and imaginative for the motorway to fucking end here. Now I can see the sense in the motorway starting here. Help you get out quicker, but for the motorway to end here, I think, because motorways often lead to a place that people want to go to. The great motorways of the world, from Los Angeles to San Francisco. Both places are mighty. Fucking even in Ireland, you get Dublin to Galway and back to fucking Dublin. Fantastic. But it's just so amazing for tourists, especially, but also for Irish people, to get on that motorway, take a left coming out of Shannon, and just drive up. To fucking skip Cork, to skip Ennis, to skip the Cliffs of Moher, to skip fucking Galway, to skip Oranmore. We're going all the way till the fucking wheels fall off and burn. That's where we're going. To come off that motorway into a fucking deserted, dilapidated fucking run-down ex-sugar beet fucking factory, Coca-Cola. Even the fucking saw doctors aren't together again yet, like, for fuck's sake.